It may be the solution to your problem. It certainly has become mine. What a mess I made of things.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, hi.
This is the Papa from the
That's
Papa's
right.
Kitchen and the Nana,
Right.
in case you don't know him.
Exactly. I am making a phenomenally decadent dessert
And I've had a hard time keeping out of
out
one
of the chocolate chips.
one of the
I know it.
ingredients.
But I'll tell you why I'm doing it is because we're having company come in tonight of some friends. And I happen to know he particularly loves chocolate like crazy bad.
Well,
And
lucky
so
him.
lucky him. So what I'm hoping is once we do this, build it, make it, that he'll eat most of it. I may take a little bite and you can have a little bite. That's how decadent this is though. It's chocolatey.
With a cup of coffee, I'm sure
Yeah,
it tastes
it will
really
be.
good.
Yeah, this is a breakfast treat even, and a lunch and a
Breakfast?
dinner. Everything, anything you want to do. What I'm going to make for you is salted caramel brownies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do love the caramel. I'm not a big chocolate fan, but I do like brownies, particularly the ones that are sort of chewy.
Chewy and gooey.
Yep, and these will be. And I do love caramel. I really love caramel. So I'm going to mix. It's the easiest little recipe, honestly.
You say that about every recipe.
I know it, but this is. Trust me on this one. And so we're going to just start off right here. I've got everything I need. In fact, I pulled everything out. 8 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Another 6 ounces also of semi-sweet chocolate chips, making total 14. By the way, the second 6 ounces there is to make the brownies very gooey and chocolatey when you bite into every bite. It's going to be good. You'll see. Vanilla extract, baking powder, flour, white sugar, 3 ounces of unsweetened dark chocolate, some instant espresso coffee or just regular instant coffee will work, 2 sticks of butter, 3 large eggs. I went and bought the caramel sauce because why make it when you can easily pick it up at the store? And this is really good, Mrs. Richardson's, good stuff. And that's actually salted caramel. This recipe would normally call for some Maldon salt on top, baking powder, a sifter, not even a beater, not even an electric mixer, just a spatula, a 9x13 pan.
Good.
And you're set. So here we go. My oven's at 350 degrees, so let's get started.
All right.
I've got on my convection stovetop here a pot of about half full of just water, and I'm going to do that double boiler kind of thing. We're going to steam that water. I'm going to put both sticks of unsalted butter. You know, and unsalted is usually what I use always for baking stuff because you want to control the salt. And since we're doing salted caramel, there's going to be enough salt. And we're going to let all that melt along with the 8 ounces of the semi-sweet chocolate. Now, I know some of you probably just go and you say, hey, why can't you just go buy a box? You could. I'll tell you what, when you make it yourself, it's just a little bit more satisfying. Plus, I think it actually tastes better. I'm going to put in 8 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, and I use Ghirardelli's chocolate. Is that how you say it, Ghirardelli? Ghirardelli, And I'm also going to use 3 ounces of unsweetened chocolate. And this too is Ghirardelli's. So a good amount of chocolate in here. And we're just going to let that melt off. I really hope you're having a good week. As I'm recording this, it's been about a week since 9/11 and our observance of that 24th anniversary of that, as well as the assassination of a young Christian man in Utah. And I know you've been following the news like I have, and it's just been very, very sad. And I think what saddens me the most is that whether you agree with him or not, that really isn't the issue at this point. But anytime somebody loses their life, because every life is precious, it should really upset us. And particularly because he was a known or a public figure, we knew him. Maybe you didn't agree with everything he said, not a problem. But because we knew him, and then we see very publicly the effects it has on his wife and his children, and also really the effect it's had on our nation, you've got to be sort of sensitive to the fact that anytime someone dies, even if it's your neighbor or somebody that your neighbor's relatives and they're not feeling real happy, man, pick up the phone and offer condolences and just use common sense and common courtesy to to operate correctly with love and empathy and compassion for people. We received a call tonight of one of our friends. He lost a son. And when I heard it, I grabbed the phone and called him, and I maybe met the son once. Didn't matter. This is a man that was hurting because he lost his son. That's how we should respond. So everywhere you can, spread the message to help people respond correctly. That's the biggest thing. And don't ignore it either, by the way. It's sad. It's certainly affecting our nation. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's affecting a lot of people. So anyhow, enough preaching. But I do want to get back to my brownies with you here. So we're going to get this water boiling. In the meantime, I can put 3 eggs in this bowl. And then we're going to add, whoops, almost lost one of those eggs. And we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of the coffee mixture. And we're going to also add some sugar, 1 cup. And let's do 2 tablespoons as well. I really do hope you're having a good week. If you're not, I'm hoping it and praying that it gets better for you. I really do. There's always hope. The sun will rise tomorrow.
I know how to have a better week.
How's that?
Make some brownies.
Make some brownies. Salted caramel brownies. All right. I'm going to put in, and by the way, when you're dealing with chocolate, every recipe you ever see, every baker you ever talk to, they always talk about adding coffee, instant coffee in this case, because it brings out that chocolate taste. So 1.5 tablespoons in this case of instant espresso coffee. Perfect. And I want 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now I do make my own vanilla, as I've showed you before. And what I do is I use a very strong vodka along with beans, put them in the vodka, and you usually wait for about 1 year before it has become an extract. But oh man, is it ever good. That vanilla is so strong and so maybe rich. Depth, richness is what it is.
It's the
just
flavor
so good.
is more rich.
Yeah. And all I'm doing here is just mixing those 4 ingredients up: the sugar, the egg, the vanilla,
and your
and the coffee.
Your water's boiling.
And my water's boiling. So there we go. So we start letting this start to melt a little bit there. It's starting to do. Yeah, beautiful. And you just sort of want it to simmer. I don't want it to boil. I don't want any of that kind of action. Because honestly, once this gets all melted, I'm going to set this bowl aside. And I want it to cool for about a good 15 minutes or so. Because if I don't, and I pour it into this mixture with the eggs in there, I'm going to end up with scrambled eggs, and I don't want that. As that melts, I'll get back to you in just a few minutes and show you how we put all this together. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes that I've let this cool, and we're going to pour it in here. That way it's cooled down enough that hopefully it doesn't make scrambled eggs, chocolate scrambled eggs. That would be bad. Oh, doesn't that look delicious? It's amazing to me. I don't know about you, and I'm trying not to be an editorializer here, but I've just been thinking about this. How many people can't even be happy when somebody else is happy? I mean, what's with that? So,
whoa. Now we have a bowl that's chocolate covered.
So are you going to rejoice with me, or are you...
That's right, there you go.
Or are you going to weep with me here? Or are you going to laugh with me? I think I'm going to laugh. I need to get some bowls. I've seen them with handles, glass bowls. I've seen them.
Do you need my help?
No, let me just see if I can just... I think it's good enough. Folks, I said at the beginning that this was an easy recipe, and it really is. The only reason I use glass is I want people to see what I'm doing. I'm going to let that cool now. I want to show you something. These 6 ounces of these semi-sweets are going to be incorporated in the batter. I want you to take 2 tablespoons of flour and pour it over these 6 ounces like this, and then just stir all of this around. And as those semi-sweet chocolates get coated with that flour, when we incorporate them into the batter that we're about to make, they're going to be suspended in that batter all through the batter and not just all drop to the bottom or float to the top, although I don't think they float to the top. They're going to be suspended in there. That way, when you bite in, you're going to enjoy every single bite. Take a half a cup of flour. I'm going to put it in my sifter. By the way, my grandmother's sifter.
No.
My mother's.
No,
I thought my
that's
grandmother.
my
that was
sifter.
yours?
Yep.
I think my mother had one.
Yeah, your mother had one.
Okay.
So it's only 50 years old.
And what I need here is 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder.
You're going to be licking chocolate all night.
I know it's all over here. I'm really messed up. There we go. And I need half a teaspoon of kosher salt. And we're just going to sift that. I love this. All right, and into the mixture. Now, you don't want to do too much beating. You just want to stir this in, because if you do too much, it'll make the brownies tough, and that is not what we want. And then what I'm going to do is now wait about another 10 minutes, and that's going to thicken up a little bit. And then we're going to add the other chocolate chips, and then we're going to put everything to the bake. And while I'm waiting for this to cool down a little bit more and get a little thicker, it's already doing it, I want you to look at this brief thing to try out, and I fell in love with it. A countertop air vent for when I'm cooking.
Well, and it's something you've been trying to find on your own.
Like crazy. I'm in love with this thing. I was going to store it in the back room. It's sitting here right on my counter, which I don't have enough room for, but I love it because every time I cook anything, that thing is running. The smell is gone, and I can't be more delighted. So I want you to see this video. Take a look. Hey, hi, everybody. I want to take a few moments in this video and just sort of share with you a product. Months ago, if you remember, I did a video on a Monarch outdoor grill, and my brother and I put that together, and we've still been using that. It's wonderful. The same people must have been watching my YouTube account because they sent me one of these to try out. One of the hardest things that I've had difficulty with in this home, we're not able to cook or grill outside, and I love doing a lot of grilling. And I also love doing frying, but I almost avoid doing it because the smoke and then the smell and everything else that goes with it comes in like a flood, and it's so hard to get it out of this place. This is an on-the-counter ventilation system that they've sent me from AMAZING Chef, A-M-Z Chef. It tilts so you can sort of position it how you want.
Yeah.
And so it goes up and down. There. Here's the other neat little thing. It's got a light. It comes with about 10 of these filter pads. And what they suggest doing is as it draws stuff in across this, just rinse this in warm water, let it dry, and you can use it over again. And I've got 10 of them. It comes with this little unit that slips out. It's where it catches the smoke, and any oil from that smoke is being caught up in here.
That's nice.
And that's nice. I'm going to turn this on and move it down. There it is. I'm turning it on so you can see it starting to draw, but it's doing the job. So look at that, taking that all in. That is really good. That comes off. That's going to collect some of that still. You don't notice any smoke in the air or anything like that.
No, usually I have to open the door.
Yeah, I know it. So I'm pleased with that. I really am. That's nice. And I love the little light around here. So I'll put a link in the description box for you. It may be the solution to your problem. It certainly has become mine. All right, my oven's at 350 waiting for this to come into the oven, but there's those coated chocolate chips that are going to go in. And we're just going to dump all of that right in there like that and just make sure we get those incorporated all the way through that nice batter. And we're about ready to pour this in my 9x13, which I sprayed, or you could butter and flour it. All right, this is ready to go. This part scares me, but here we go. Some of you are drooling right now, even as I'm doing this, I can tell.
A lot of people love brownies.
I know it. I do too. Okay, and I'm just going to spread it all, get it in every corner here.
They won't rise too much, I
No,
bet.
they don't rise too much. No, these are not going to be real thick. They'll come up some, but not a whole lot. They're almost like bars, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want every bit of goodness in the pan here. Nothing goes to waste. If I don't, Susan will lick the spoon.
Oh, yeah, that's the best part.
There we go. All right. I'm being fastidious. Oh, that is good. I have to admit, that's pretty good. All right. Into the oven we go, and we're going to bake this for about 35 minutes. We don't want to overcook it, but we want to make sure it's done. And when we bring it out, we're going to add the caramel, and we're going to add a little bit of salt, and this thing is done. It's ready. This thing's going to go off in a second, so I'm too impatient. Okay, and as this cools down, what I'm going to do, that caramel is good, but it's thick. And what I'm going to do is stick it in this little pour container. I want about 5 or 6 ounces of it. We're going to heat it up in the microwave just barely so that it'll pour nicely. There is nothing in the world like caramel. I don't care if you home make it or buy a good brand. To me, it's my favorite thing. It was my mother's as well. All we had to get for each other for Christmas was caramel.
And caramel and chocolate was even better.
Yeah, but she was like me, more of a caramel fan than a chocolate fan. Given the choice, she'd take caramel every single day. And while it's still somewhat cooling, of course, I'm just going to go ahead and get it ready to... Oh, yeah, it's going to cool very nicely. Let me just show you what we're going to do here. That's going to all cool together, and that's going to be nice. And then all I'm going to do, because this caramel is already pre-salted, I'm not going to use as much of this as I normally would. That is that Maldon salt, but we want it for a little bit of the decorative idea here. And it's sort of neat when you're eating this. You bite into a chocolate chip. You bite into a caramel-covered chocolate chip. And then you have this little bite of big grained salt. Finished product. My friend's gonna be here in about 2 hours. And when he gets here, I'll have this all cut and ready for him. And I'll get about 12, 14 cuts out of this, probably 12. It'll be just perfect. But we'll let it cool down quite a bit. So there you go. Very easy, very fun. Except when you drop the one bowl into the other bowl. I really hope you have a good week. I hope things get looking a little bit better for all of us. I really do. Know that God's a big God and He's in charge of everything. I mean it. He really is. Hey, have a good week. We'll see you later.